Love in Every Word. Yes, that's the movie that's currently trending on YouTube, and I've watched the movie. Yes. So Obi and I were sort of at home, last few days, and we just said, "Oh, let's watch a movie." And we went to YouTube and we saw the movie. Like, yeah, let's watch it. And was it worth our time? It was worth our time. Yes, and I'm gonna share with you the review and the lessons that I learned, of course, because I love talking about women. And this movie was all about one woman, Chioma, who was, a career woman, and very ambitious, and something I like to talk about, and I liked, so I'll share all of those things and the lessons I learned. In addition, I'm also going to be sharing, my turn-offs, what I didn't like about this movie. Yes, I didn't like everything about the movie, and I've got to be honest. By the way, it's my first time doing a movie review, so I'm looking forward to this, and I hope you enjoy it. Before I get into it, if you're new to this channel, welcome. This is the Confident Woman. I'm the Confident Woman. I'm Blessing Ekundayo. I'm a medical doctor by profession. Yes, I'm a career woman, and I'm also blessed with a wonderful husband, my wonderful husband, and two wonderful boys, the Purposeful Brothers. On this channel, I walk with you on your journey to becoming confident, to becoming a woman of self-worth, a woman who knows her value, a woman who is ready to live unapologetically. So if that is you and you're a woman, please hit that subscribe button because you gotta be here. Right, so let's go straight into the review and lessons of Love in Every Word, the movie by Omoni Oboli. So, can I just give Omoni, first of all, Oboli, I want to give her flowers because she did well in this movie. This was beautifully executed, and all the actors in the movie, oh my goodness, from Chioma, well, her real name apparently is Bam Bam, or again, I hope I got it right. Yeah, because apparently, that's actually the first time I'll be seeing her in a movie. Okay, apologies, I don't watch Nigerian movies a lot, but I was seeing her for the first time. I was seeing her acting for the first time. I was like, whoa, this babe can act. She's good, man. Who is she? And I got to find out that she's actually been acting for a while now, and she went to Big Brother Nigeria and all of those things. So I don't watch Big Brother Nigeria and all of, so I've never heard about her, to be honest. So that was really good acting. 10 out of 10. I enjoyed. I felt her role. Chioma was done brilliantly. And Uzo, who acted the role of Odogo Parara. It was so good, man. I've actually seen him act once. Again, I don't watch Nigerian movies, but I've seen him act once in Fame and Fury, by Bimbo Ademoye the last year. That was also well done. So I didn't expect anything less from him. He did it so well. He performed so well. The movie was overall, it was entertaining. It was amazing. It was beautiful. It was funny. It was everything with lots of lessons to learn. So well done to the cast and crew members, Chioma's friends, everybody, Chioma's mom. All the roles were so well executed. I enjoyed, the 2 hours I spent watching the movie. There's some movies you watch and you're like, wow, this was 2 hours of my life wasted. They leave a distaste in your mouth and you're so angry. But this was not the case. So if you're yet to watch the movie, to be a good idea to watch it actually. Right, so I'm gonna go straight into the lessons that I learned. I think I learned about 6 or 7 lessons, but probably more, but I don't want to bore you, but I will just be short and sweet about it. I think the first lesson, first of all, the highlight of the movie, to summarize it, not giving you all of it, all the gist, but, I saw this woman, Chioma, who was very driven, very career-oriented, very focused, and just, doing everything and pouring her heart out into her role, a job that she was doing. And she, everything was working well for her. She was making good money. She had her own business on the side also. She was that woman. She was that confident woman. But apart from that, there was a part of her life, who that was not really going so well. Like many single ladies, there was a part that was like, question mark. Her relationship life, her love life, and she had faced lots of disappointments with guys in the past and currently, and then breakup and all of that. Things began to unfold in the movie where she eventually met this guy, and she was like, not my spec, not my type. Well, you should go watch the movie to find out what really happened at the end. So, but really, some lessons that I learned from this movie, number one, is it's important for us ladies to know our worth. Yes, it's important that you know your worth. One thing that struck me was how she got herself entangled with, I mean, a woman who is just so driven, so focused, so successful. How do you find yourself with a guy or guys that sort of like draining you, making you feel so exhausted, and just running you down, financially, mentally, emotionally, just making you feel so exhausted. That was the pattern of the guys that she was dating. And I was just, when she eventually broke up with that guy, I was like, yes, hey, you got to use your senses, man, babe. So it's important for us ladies to know our worth. And if you find that you're in a pattern, or you have a pattern in your life where you're dating the same kind of guys, who are causing the same kind of hurts and pains, then you need to check yourself. The next thing is not to go into another relationship. Find out, why am I always heartbroken? What is it about me, about my past, about am I trying to avoid something, or am I looking for a particular pattern because of a trauma that I've been through in my past? That was the case of Chioma. And it's important that you sit back and reflect. That self-reflection, that self-insight is very, very important before you embark on the next relationship. So it's important for us ladies to know who we are, know ourselves, know our worth. Don't just settle for guys below you. I'm not just talking about guys below you financially, but guys below you, that guys that don't deserve you. Like, know where you're going, know what you want in life, and find a guy that deserves you, that matches where you're going to, not a guy that's going to drag you back. That's not the kind of guy that you deserve. So it's important that we know our worth. That's number one. I like the way, even when, number two, how Odogwu, Obiora did not take advantage of, Chioma at the time where she fell asleep on the bed, and he was, like a perfect gentleman, like a man that had self-control. He was able to get off the bed, went to, sit on a chair, and that's where he slept. Some other men would have seized that opportunity. Okay, she was tipsy, or maybe she was drunk or something. Like, okay, this is a perfect time, perfect opportunity, to take advantage of this babe. That was not him, and to be honest, at the point I felt like, this guy is too good to be true. But anyways, I like how he didn't take advantage of her. That was really, 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 really nice to see, that there are guys who would just sort of want to just sort of love you for who you are, not actually wanting to see the other part of you, like the inside of you, like the underneath of you. Yeah. And I like the third lesson I learned was, you surround yourself with good friends that got you, friends that will speak sense to your head, friends that will just sort of be your biggest cheerleader, be your biggest fan. I love how Chioma had friends, those two friends, like they were solid. When she was messing up or she was not doing well, girl, are you okay? You need prayer. I mean, to and when it was time to gist, they were there. When it was time to be, to just be, to support her, they were there. When it was time to fire the guy and get back her money, they were there. Like, get yourself, friends that are there for you all the time. Positive-minded people that are willing to see you grow, who are also growing. Very important as for us ladies, we need to have that supportive community around you, supportive network around you, supportive social network around you, not just random friends, but friends that you can give them a call and they get you, they understand you, and they can speak sense into you when you're not actually making sense or doing things that are sensible. So Chioma's friends were on point. The fourth lesson I learned, get yourself a man that knows your worth and inspires you. Apart from the fact that Odogwu Obiora had money, and he was sort of flaunting. I didn't like that part, just sort of flaunting, having his way. Why do you come to a woman's place of work and start drumming out? Like, I don't think it was necessary anyway, but that's by the way. My point, the point I'm trying to make here is get yourself a man that actually knows your worth and knows your value. I like how he stood up for her, when the boss was sort of trying to run her down and just call her names and call her odd hour and things like that, he like, I'm the husband of the woman that you're calling at 3 a.m. That was just amazing. So get yourself a man that knows your worth, that was kind of for you, and that will inspire you to do more and be more. How the part where he was sort of inspiring her, encouraging her, if you resign from this job and you focus on your business, how much you can make, and things like that. A man who is actually interested in what you're interested in, a man who is willing to see you grow, not a man who just wants to see you maybe sit at home or whatever and not sort of flourish, or is threatened by your success, or your prosperity. No, get yourself a man who loves you for what you're doing and he is ready to, go on, baby, you can do more. You're not even there yet, like, let's go higher. That's the kind of man you should get for yourself. Right, so I like that part, and the fifth thing I would like to talk about is content over container. A lot of times we ladies, we focus a lot on, oh, he's not my spec, and why is not your spec? Because he's short, or he's too tall, or he wears glasses, or he doesn't wear glasses, or no, he's too dark, or he's too fair, or he's too this, or he's too that. So we have all this I will call it flimsy excuses, because those things don't make a marriage last. Those are not things that make a relationship last or a marriage last. They don't have, they're not things of substance, not value, they're not qualities that are substantial. There are many people who are, women beaters, who are tall, that kind of handsome. There are more important things to look out for when you are, wanting to choose someone you want to spend the rest of your life with. Like Chioma in this case, she was looking at, oh, his accent is this, his accent is that, it's too this, it's too erotic, and fair enough, but are those things that we can work on? Of course, if he doesn't dress well, we can work on that. If his accent is too thick, or is too that, is whatever, we can work on it. It can be polished. There are things that can be worked on. Excuse me. So don't focus on things that don't actually not make the marriage last or the relationship last, while losing out on things that are more important. If the guys, when I mean content, I mean what qualities does this guy possess? Is he a good person? Does he love the Lord? Is he a child of God? What are his characters traits like? Is he humble? Is he willing to learn? Is he teachable? Is he kind? Is he caring? These are things that you look out for, not just, not focusing on whether he's tall or he's shorter than you, or those things are good. But with time, when you realize that the guy if he's a guy of substance, those are things that would, with time, when you build friendship, they will become more attractive to you than even the things that you feel like, oh, he's not my spec. So focus on those things that are of more substance than just sort of ephemeral things, right? So that's number 5. And the last thing I would like to talk about is, it's important that you ask questions when you are dating. Very, very, very key. Ask questions. I like the way the Odogu was asking her questions. I want to get to know you, I want to do this, how was this, but in her own case, we didn't really see that she was asking questions. Excuse me. And that was evident. We couldn't really appreciate that she was asking questions. And maybe if she was asking questions, her fear, about just because of the trauma she had gone through, her questions might have been answered, or those questions that she must have asked would have, provided her with clarity, at the end of the day. So I'll encourage you to ask questions, important questions, that would sort of knock off the fears that you have about the person that you're in a relationship with, right? So very quickly, I thought I was going to be really quick, but I've spent so much time already. Now, what are my downsides or my turn-offs, about this movie, right? So my downside, number 1, is that can I just say that when you're in a relationship with a guy, as a Christian, this is for my Christian babes, when you're in a relationship with a guy, it is important that you have boundaries, especially a guy that you're attracted to. You don't go ahead and start staying in his bedroom. that is temptation. Or bring him to your bedroom and you are cuddling and nah. We don't do this in the kingdom, right? Because the Bible says you should flee every appearance of evil. So I know it is normal, and to do that, like in the world today, that is normal. But you're not married to him. Avoid, closed doors and all of those things that would set you up for disaster. Very important, excuse me. So that's number one. I didn't like that part. Now, the second thing I didn't like about this movie, my second turn off about this movie, yes, is the portray that sex is okay before marriage. I know that, you know, Chimawa's body was doing gish and everything, and they had sex. We didn't see the sex scene, but clearly it was evident that they had it before marriage and all of that. And I know it's common in our world today for us to think that it is okay. Many people are doing it. I mean, how would you know that you are compatible sexually if you don't do it? All of those things is a lie. And what is normal now, you know, what should actually be abnormal is now normalized, and we are seeing it in movies, and they're portraying that it's okay to have sex. You know, if you love each other, you are in love with each other, have sex, you know, before marriage. It's normal. My dear brother and sister, if you're a child of God, please hear me and hear me well. It is not okay. God does not approve of it. We are supposed to honor God with our bodies, you know. Sex is what we're waiting for until marriage. It is for marriage, for married couples, please, for your own good, right? And it is worth waiting for. It is worth waiting for. So the portray of the fact that sex is okay before marriage, it is not okay. It is not okay. And that's why when you're in a relationship with a guy that you're in love with as a lady, have boundaries, set boundaries, you know. I like how you know, Odogo at the time was not willing to go into have sex. It says something in the line of no, I don't just want to you know, have sex with you. I mean, I don't just want to, you know, have sex with you. So that's not all that there is about our relationship, you know. I want to get to know you better, I'll know you more, you know, something like that. I can't remember the exact lines, you know. So it's important that, I mean, that's relationship, you know, helps you know, you get to know the person better because you develop a really strong friendship, that strong chemistry, you know. And while you are in it, have boundaries, set boundaries, so that you do not go beyond those, you don't cross those lines you know, and you don't fall into temptations, because there'll be temptations unless you're not in love with that person. There'll be temptations, that's the truth. So have boundaries, you know. So number one and number two, those points that my turn offs, they're sort of interlinked and interwoven. Sex before marriage, it's not okay, right? So if you're a child of God and you're watching this, even though the movie sort of approves of it and it looks like it's okay, I guess that they were not born again. But if you're a child of God, please run away from it. It is not okay. God does not approve of it, right? So those are my two turn-offs about the movie. Otherwise, I think the movie was great, you know. I'll just say to all of you ladies watching me, if you're single and you're watching me, there's pressure is getting worse. The pressure is getting worse. How did they say it? Yes, and you know how Chioma's mom was even pressurizing her, everything. The pressure is a lot, right? I can imagine. But at the end of the day, please, I beg you, do not succumb to pressure. Do not succumb to pressure. Excuse me. Do not succumb to pressure. Marry someone who you know that, you know, you will be proud of at the end of the day. You know, you're not marrying out of desperation. You know, you're not marrying out of pressure, out of coercion. You know, you are actually genuinely in love with this person, you know, and together you want to build a future that would glorify God, you know. So marry that kind of person, and you are better off remaining single than succumbing to the pressure of marriage. Because guess what? If you succumb, it's just a matter of time. That marriage is going to end in divorce. You know, it's just a matter of time. And then you get out again. There is no point. Enjoy your single life. Singleness is not a disease, right? So don't succumb to pressure. Keep fulfilling purpose. Keep, you know, working towards your passion. Keep being ambitious. You know, go for that course, go for that PhD, go for that study, go do all the things that you desire to do. Live your life fully. And let me tell you something. Don't believe the lie that if you do this or if you do that, men will be intimidated or they will not like you. It's a lie. Just like Odogu found her, and that was what was attractive to him. You know, the fact that she was you know, making her own money. She was ambitious and she was not looking for a man that would change her life. You know, yeah. So be able to sustain yourself by your own self as a woman, not waiting for a man to sustain you. You know, and you will find a man while on your journey. You find a man who will see you as valuable, who will be attracted to you because of that quality, that trait that you have, right? Who will think that you are enough for him, you're not too much for him. A man that will not be intimidated by you. That's the kind of man that you find, right? So keep enjoying yourself. Now, what will I rate this movie? Overall, I think the movie was a great one. If you're yet to watch it, go and watch it. It's on Omoni Oboli TV on YouTube. I rated 8 out of 10 overall. 8 out of 10. Okay, I'll keep my 2 points to myself. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. I have a question before I go. I have a question. If Odogo was not wealthy, do you think Chioma would still have said yes to him? Let me know what your answer is in the comment section. If Odogo was not actually a wealthy man, do you think she would have agreed to marry him with that his thick Igbo accent? Let me know what you think. I have my own answer in my mind, but I want to know what you guys think. All right, so until I see you next time, I'm Blessed Nekuna, the confident woman. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave me a comment. All right, until I see you again, God bless you. Bye for now.